What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about why I will not be buying the SNES Classic Edition, and it all comes down to one main thing. It doesn't seem like Nintendo wants us to buy it. It is so difficult to get a pre-order, and it looks like stock is going to be extremely limited. Nintendo is absolutely obsessed with false scarcity. This is a business tactic where you secretly make it look like you have a lot less merchandise than you actually have. This can make it where if you have 10 million of something, if you only put 100,000 on the market, suddenly everybody's going to be talking about it, it'll have lots of headlines, and it boosts your sales. This is something they've done a lot in the past, and it drives me crazy because they're the only people who are doing this. If I want to buy any game, I can find it. If I want 5 copies of Horizon Zero Dawn, I can find it because Sony wants me to buy that. They want to sell all they can. Nintendo doesn't. Nintendo's in this weird frame of mind where they're producing these for almost zero cost. They already own the games, they already own the hardware, it's just a matter of combining them and putting them on store shelves. So even if they sell almost zero, they're fine, they've made a profit. But this is so weird of a tactic because they could get money. They don't want it. I don't consider myself a die-hard Super Nintendo fanboy. I do have one, and I do have a lot of really rare games for it and rare stuff like the wireless controllers, but it's just a great system to me. I've played a lot of it, I grew up with it, it's something that's near and dear to my heart. That being said, I don't need the SNES Classic Edition. I already own everything that's in it except for Star Fox 2. The only reason I wanted it is because I want to support Nintendo making these systems. I think it's a cool idea. See, I have a very die-hard rule. If I can buy something new, I always will. Always, always, always. There was a time when I really wanted to get a PS Vita, but every single store only had used ones. I wanted to make sure that Sony was getting my money though. They made a handheld that I wanted to play, so I ended up waiting a full extra month to buy new, that way I can make sure that I was supporting the developers who worked so hard to create such a cool device. Nintendo has been having supply problems overall this year, but mostly with the Nintendo Switch. That is fully understandable. Producing those is difficult. In fact, they're having a lot of problems just trying to get together the parts to make more of them. I understand that. That makes sense. But when you're talking about something that is literally a tiny little microchip inside of a fancy plastic shell with an HDMI cable, you could probably produce 100 million of those and it'd be super simple. Heck, you could probably just smash apart the last million of those NES classics you probably have sitting in freaking warehouses. You could make these, but you don't want to. Honestly, I think at this point, it's all just a giant marketing gimmick. They're purposely making these extremely limited to make people talk about Nintendo. Not even about this. I know for a fact that they're going to be coming out with the Virtual Console in the next year, so all of this will be playable in a much better format on my Switch. Right now, the only reason anybody would buy this is because they think it's super limited edition. It's just going to be a new little grab bag toy to put on store shelves for Christmas and have people fight over on Black Friday. I hate that they are doing this, and I refuse to participate in it. If I'm somehow sent one to review, I will cover it because I'm curious about it, but I'm not going to bother standing outside of Toys R Us. I'm not going to bother sitting in lines for hours. I'm not going to deal with scalpers. I'm not going to go on eBay. I want to buy a game console or a game directly from the store, and that money go to the people who spent so many thousands of hours making it. If you want to try and add in all these extra little mind games and all this extra little BS, I'm not going to participate. If you want my cash, you'll just give me the product. I think that sometimes Nintendo forgets that a big part of their demographic is adults. Like, people in their 30s are a majority of the people who are buying Nintendo stuff. If these people aren't able to get your product, they're just going to emulate. Already I see a majority of people talking about the fact that they're just going to download an emulator, or they're going to get a Raspberry Pi, or they're going to get one of the many emulators that are actually on cell phones. Right now, I can play Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, anything I want on my Android phone super easily. I don't even need this $80 fancy emulator box that you're producing. It seems like they're overlooking that. They're overvaluing their own product, and that can be a dangerous thing. As soon as you start to think that your thing is this extra nice gold mine, that's when it really becomes dangerous. You need to respect your product, but you also need the fans to have access to it. As soon as you start putting those barriers between them and the service they want, they're going to give up and move on. This isn't me raging or throwing a hissy fit. It's simply me saying that it's being overly convoluted. I don't understand why they would actually obstruct people. Right now, I see people all over Twitter very publicly outcrying at the fact that they tried to get it. They tried their ass off to get an SNES Classic pre-order, but the pre-orders went up at freaking 3 a.m. 3 a.m. and they were up for approximately 9 minutes. You know, that's BS. In every sense of the word, that is BS. That's like me being like, hey guys, I know you're dying of thirst, but I've only got these 2 drops of water left, and it'd be a real shame if I just decided to dump them out. Uh-oh, this is your last chance. Are you dying of thirst? Oh no, there goes the pre-orders. Oh, I'm pouring it right on my crotch. This joke is bad. But that's my point, is the fact that Nintendo is just becoming so obsessed with their image of value that they're not even worrying about selling the products. They're so in the green. They're making so many hundreds of millions of dollars. They're not worried about actually keeping fans happy. Nintendo, if you just actually sat down, did the numbers, built the factories, and made these things, people would buy them. You no longer have to worry about this magical, elusive sense that it's this ultra rare gift. Just put it on store shelves and you'll make your money. This is getting ridiculous. I don't care. Whatever. Do what you're going to do, Nintendo. I'm not going to participate, though. It's just so absurd that you think that you could drag along your fans. I'm not even a diehard Nintendo fanboy. I just like their stuff. But with this kind of annoyance, it makes me like their stuff less. I'm going to keep playing my Switch, my PlayStation 4, and everything else where I can just buy the freaking games. If you don't want to put it on a store shelf, I don't want to buy it. What do you guys think about this whole mess? Let me know in the comments down below. Are you one of the 6 people in America who actually got a pre-order for this thing? Well, that's magical. Tell us all about it in the comments down below so I can cry and reply. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Look, I've got Chrono Trigger over here. See, I got some pretty rare stuff. I've got a lot of really rare Super Nintendo games. I found this copy of Chrono Trigger for $5. $5. Somebody actually had it in a thrift store. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.